Now, let's see if we can just continue, more or less. Now, do we have to? Where should we start from, Anju?
We were just talking about, I'm trying to remember, about the space. Okay, so an issue comes up that's, for me, really charged. And I find the space then I can access as the witnessing space up here, which pulls me into an into less of a charged space because it's not emotionally laden. I can witness that this is a thought that's coming up, that I'm attached to these thoughts, yada
But it's
yada. But
mental
then
processing.
it
It's mental
is, and
processing still. You're
so
you're in
then
your head.
when I come down here with that same thought, it can be like really like an emotional outpouring if it's charged.
Overwhelming. Overwhelming
Exactly. And
because it's a
so
very
all I want to
heavy
feel
thought.
like, yeah, all I
It's
want to
very
feel is just
raw, it's
crying.
recent.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's very raw, it's recent. As so I would suggest, in cases like that, if you can, first start without focusing on a thought. Go down without focusing on a thought. And then when the thought, so establishing yourself in a space without focusing on that particular thought. And then when that thought comes, you try and step into it, straight into it, stepping into it. Movement is straight into it with the connection through the chest. So let's start.
Mm.
Let's try now, Angie. Let's try now, okay? So what you're doing is now you're not particularly focusing on any thought. Now you just close your eyes or open, whatever you do usually. You find the breath, couple it with the mantra. And when the thought comes, whichever thought, when you plaster yourself to whatever thought, you try stepping movement into it and focus on the chest.
See, like tears will come up. I mean, I've processed this already for about 24 hours, so it's a little different. At the beginning, the first hour is just tears, like total tears. I can't believe this is happening to me. The poor me, I'm a victim, yada yada. Um,
But these are all thoughts, Angie. These are
they
all
are,
thoughts.
they are, and that's why it was helping to find that space up here right after it happens, because it pulls the emotional stuff out of the picture for a bit, and then I can witness just the raw, like these are just thoughts coming through. Um, but when it's really charged, I can't separate from those thoughts. When I'm sitting with you here, it's really hard to find, in many ways, that space, that emotional space, because there's something that opens up when I sit with you. It's a bigger space, and it just swallows all that up, and it's all gone.
And that, Angie, is what will happen to anyone who enters the space. Anyone. That's how it is. Everything else is swallowed up because you're connected straight to the space, to the stream, to the vibration. And everything else disintegrates. All the thoughts, because the thoughts cause the emotions. The emotions are just the
Right.
reactions to the thoughts, physical reactions to the thoughts. And when you are in this bigger space, the space that we are all in it, and hooked onto inside the stream with the vibration and everything, that disintegrates everything else. And there is nothing else in it but that, nothing else
Mm.
but that space and that vibration, and nothing else. And because there is nothing else, no thoughts, there are no emotions, there are no reactions to the thoughts. Everything is just as is, empty and fine and just
So the question is how to maintain that space. That's been a lifetime question for me.
It's just a question of practice, but practice through the
Mm,
chest, not practice
mm,
through the mind, practice through the chest. And obviously, when you're not having these big turmoils in a private life, obviously that all helps. We understand each other, isn't it? I mean, when something is
mm,
really raw and really big and really overwhelming, then you have to try again and again and again and again something, persevere a little bit, even with the pain for a little while, and then go up and then go down again. And you know what I mean? Just to find a bit
right,
of relief and then go back. That's what I used to do. I used to stay with it for as long as I could. Sometimes it got really heavy, then I got back up. And then after a while, I got back down again and again, like just.
right.
And the more times I did it, the more I sort of managed to stay longer and longer. But when the thoughts are not heavy, when the overall situation is not really, tumultuous or sort of really deep, which happens in life, then it's
Mhm.
much easier, all in all. Then you don't have to go
Sure.
up and down so often. You can just, and the movement into the thought is very important, because with this blast that I said before when we talked, like this charge, or this sort of vibration that comes straight from the source. When you come closer to the source is like this sort of energy field that's vibrating. That's energy is very high, very strong. Like a very strong vibration, and that sort of vibration, that sort of energy blasts everything else away, like completely clears, disintegrates everything, disintegrates the thoughts, disintegrates the, you know what I mean, and it's all
Right.
completely clear, and just as is, just completely, because the energy field itself is completely balanced, completely peaceful. It's got this lovely vibration and energy, but it's like you're charged, you're plugged in,
Mm,
but it's balanced. It's completely at peace. It's, you know what I mean. It's not in any way up and down, or upset, or you know what I mean, in any way. But it has to be through here, because you see, through here, when we're in the head, there is no vibration. Vibration is so low that it's almost unperceptible, like it's really nothing, so everything
mhm.
that all the forms, like all the thoughts and all that, they're really heavy, they're really like almost material, they are like, because there is no
Dense.
vibration.
Mhm.
Yeah, dense, that's the word, you see, dense. I will operate with this word, this is the good word. This density, the vibration completely breaks it. It's like, when you
Mm,
have something on a high charge, it's completely breaking everything, all the density. It's becoming very loose, and it's completely falling apart. And that's what happens. So up here, it's
ah,
completely dense. There is no vibration. Vibration is so low that the density is here, and we are crippled by this density of these force that are actually empty. But up here, they are felt so dense, so heavy. So you know what I mean.
right. Yeah.
But down here, when the stream comes through, when the vibration comes through, you know what I mean? Sorry,
Right.
sorry. I'm
Yeah.
trying to charge the phone, and it's just moving, and I'm moving in action. Anyway,
Mm,
Angie, am I making sense? Does it make sense to you in any way?
it
What we're
does.
just talking about? Yeah.
It it does. The question, I think the bigger question we talked about before we started the original live stream was the and this goes back to the subject of the live stream, actually, the meditation process. So we sit in that. I can feel great doing that and find that space. Um, and then working throughout the day is not always like that same space. So the thought, for me, a supercharged thought will come back to me at work. I'll feel the tears coming, or something if
You
it's
have to get
charged.
you have to get through it, Angie. You have to get through it. You have to repeat the action again and again and again,
Again,
and
again.
try
Mm.
again and again. You have to. It's just like that.
It's
Like
repetition
sometimes
then,
things, repetition. But here, Angie, here, you can repeat
right?
here forever and not get. yes, you will be able to put a distance between yourself and the thoughts. But when you step away from this meditation and this space, that's sort of,
Right.
special space, it will all just come together again. So you have not
Right.
done much. You have
Right.
to establish yourself here with the vibration, because as we realize now, the vibration is the thing that actually breaks up the density. The things
Huh.
that are dense and heavy here are broken up by the vibration. They fall
Can you
apart, they
move your
move
camera
away. You see,
down? Move your camera down so we can see. There we go. Yeah. Okay.
it's a bit more difficult because I'm trying to
Oh,
charge it and I
it's,
can't.
oh, sorry. The
But
charge is
can
on the
you?
bottom.
Yeah, can
Yeah.
you at least even you can, if you can hear me and it's actually
Yeah.
me. I mean, it's not just someone else on a megaphone. Is it? Can you just see at least a little bit of me, or so the
Yeah.
people
It's good. But
realize
when
that
you
it's
point
me
down to
talking?
here, it's hard to see.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can see
Chest
it now.
area. Yeah, we always go for that vibration felt through the chest area. This is our pointer. This is our focus, to have that experience
Mm.
of that vibration through the chest area, and we work with that, following the breath and the mantra, which sort of helps us not falling into the thoughts straight away. But the
Oh, using the
vibration,
mantra as an anchor then for the mental.
yes, just when the thought
Okay.
comes and we plaster to the thought, it doesn't happen that quickly. If we use the mantra, we fill up the space with the mantra
Right.
by following the breath, because like I've got a vibration there now all the time, I'm plugged into it. But for people who don't, it doesn't happen straight away. it's
Right.
it's sort of, it's a process till you sort of locate it and then spend time with it and then expand it, and you can feel it strong and all that. So in that meantime, while you're establishing all that and feeling it stronger and stronger, blah blah, you're using the mantra as a tool to fill the space, so that you don't get overwhelmed by thoughts straight away. And when you
Right.
realize that the thought, you're plastered to the thought, the movement is stepping into it, forward, into the thought, not away, but into it, and let the vibration do the job, disintegrate it. You know what I mean?
You mean this
From that
vibration?
density, from that density, it will disintegrate all these dense parts, and it will just float away, and it will all disappear. And that's why this is an
Mm.
active process where you actually, there is a disappearance of the thoughts through vibration, by the act, by the vibration itself, by the charge, whatever you call it, energy. I mean, whatever you call it.
Right.
So you've got a density here and heaviness, and you've got a lightness. That's why people also say this, like everything is so light, like even the body and the everything that is corporal and heavy and material up here, down through the chest, it experience as light, as because of the vibration. You see, everything breaks up. Everything is broken up in this, floating sort of pieces that just float away.
So, Di, when you had like tears coming up, I don't know if you can even remember that, but when you have a supercharged issue, tears are coming up. Um, I feel it like right here. It feels like my heart's breaking, like imploding or something. Like there's just pressure, and I can't really find that space of like I can now. I mean, I just touch it and I can feel the little vibration of,
You
it's like an
see,
electrical
with
charge.
time, with repetition, Angie, with time, with repetition, you settle. It's settled. It becomes much more settled. Becomes much more
Mm,
habitual. Like for me, it's just I'm there. There's no
right,
problem there. I'm there, and it just blasts everything to oblivion. You know what I mean? Like it's completely
right.
empty and open, and you know what I mean. It comes with time and with practice, Angie. It really. That's how it is. That's how it is. But it's important that you understand the process. I think that understanding is important. Why we are transferring, this whatever the process or the practice from up here to down here. what we are looking for, what we are aiming for, what sort of a sensation we are sort of, you know what I mean, like detecting here, or that
Right.
actually breaks the density, that actually works. That is connection to the source. There is a source, and then there is this forms that are, different forms that are coming and going and whatever, but that are very dense when they experience here, very dense. They fill up the whole space. They feel heavy, they feel
Mm,
corporal, they're overwhelming. But down here, plugged straight into it, it's a completely different sort of experience. And that's where you want to be.
mm,
So while you're practicing, it's just going up and down and going up and down and trying to be down as much as you can during the day when doing things that, blah, blah, blah. We told that story many times anyway. But,
right.
for you, Angie, it's more difficult. It's a big issue. It's a lifetime issue. Like it's not exactly lifetime. It's not life and death, but, it's a heavy issue. It will take time, a bit longer, up and
Mm,
down, up and down. Go down, and when it becomes too heavy, you go up, get a bit of a relief, and then you try again. And with time, it will get easier. You will be settled here. For me now,
right.
this is a habitual place. This is a habitual place.
I do
And
notice
it
that the
happens.
time, yeah, there's a time when is like the thoughts, the attachment or the plastering, as you say, plastering yourself to thoughts. Those times are shorter in duration. I witness
Yes.
them faster and I see it happening. The emotions come up, but it doesn't drag on for, weeks or whatever, someone died or whatever.
No.
It's just like a day or 2 days and it's different. It's all different.
Yeah. Practice. Practice.
Right.
And we'll practice, they will be even shorter and even shorter. And as I said to you, then your normality will be that they just blink, 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 blink. They come through
Right.
so quickly that it just sometimes you feel a split second of something, but it's gone so quickly that it just can't settle. You know what I mean? Because the
Right.
thoughts
That's
are
a
just
that's a good way to put it. It can't settle.
no, it can't settle.
Yeah.
This vibration is much stronger than the density of the thoughts. Because the thoughts are empty.
Mm,
I mean, we all understand this. It's just you know a number of letters put together that's given a certain meaning. I mean, it's empty. It's nothing there. It's nothing. But the
right.
density, the density is the problem. The density up here or down here, that's the difference. And when you get up one day and you're there, you don't even realize straight away. It becomes habitual. It becomes a habit being there instead of being up
Mm,
here because you just practice it to the certain point where it's just a habit. You said that yourself once, Angie, and I always remember that. You said that you can do whatever and be in whatever, adjust to whatever, we just develop new habits. And people, we do
right.
develop new habits very quickly. I mean, I know a lot of people procrastinate, but really speaking, Angie, maybe it takes you a few weeks to develop a new
Yeah.
habit, and then it just goes automatically. You don't even think about it. So it doesn't take a lifetime to develop a new habit. Look at it that way. I always looked at it as a habit. Habitually we're up here as human beings, but now we are habitually down here, still as human beings. It's a habit.
I think in the beginning it takes more effort, and that's what I
Oh,
feel like
absolutely,
I mean,
absolutely, Angie. It
and then you start
as
seeing
an
some
effort is
progress
needed.
maybe or some results or something that you would call it, and that's sort of like the whole thing starts to
Yeah,
snowball and roll quite easily, it seems.
but Angie, you're already seeing the results. Like the thoughts don't linger forever; they linger shorter. They're sort of, you know what I mean. So there are
Right.
some results that can be seen already in
Mm,
between, like in the in between stages. It's not like we're going from 0 to 100, like where there is
sure.
nothing in between. There is 10, 20, 30, 40. You know what I mean? It does.
Mhm.
There are changes already as we go.
Right.
But because you are grappling with a very heavy issue at the moment, which maybe it's something that happens maybe a few times in a lifetime, like a very big issue or something, that's really heavy. That's for you. It's more difficult now at this particular moment in time. For people who are not grappling with any big issues at the present, it's actually probably easier. You know what I mean? Because they
I'm
don't have this
actually
big thing that's
I'm actually quite grateful it's happening. It's such a strange thing to say. It is there are so many big movements happening and it feels like the more I see these attachments, the freer and lighter it feels.
yeah,
It's like, okay, I'm really like worried about money or like what if I wasn't worried about that? What if I didn't have to give
yeah,
that any thought? If I just could rest in the peace, everything's going to be fine. It's all unfolding. Whatever is going
yeah.
to be.
I
I
just
mean,
wanted to say, Angie, because you know how we discussed privately this, but your karma is big swings, from one
mm,
one extreme to another. For you, actually, to have something really big is probably even more beneficial than having something small.
yeah,
Because you know
yeah.
what I mean? Because for you, working with these up and down extremes is actually something that you're very familiar with, because that's how your karma goes, extreme, up and down,
Right.
so for you that's welcome. Yeah, I agree, for you that's probably even a better way to do it.
Feels like I get to the
Yeah,
heart of it more quickly
absolutely,
because I'm
absolutely.
forced to do
Yeah,
it. I'm up against a wall. I
absolutely.
like there's no place to wiggle out of this thing or figure out another way or massage it into some other
Yeah,
form. It just
absolutely.
really is like,
Mm, yeah, and also, it's usually like that people who eventually, even maybe in this lifetime, awaken are people who are sort of struggle more beforehand. They have bigger extremes, they have bigger ups and downs. You know what I mean? The struggle is sort of more. As I said, I was huge with I and all that. I had huge sort of, like,
mm,
and you have a lot of suffering in a way of extremes. You know what I mean? But in a way, you could be even closer because of that, because you can identify it easier because it's just always so big. You can't miss it. You
right,
know what I mean? Like, it's
right,
with some people who maybe more middle wide, they maybe a bit hard. It could be a bit harder to pinpoint or exactly look at, or you know what I mean. Like, it's
right.
every individual is different. Every individual is different, but yeah, absolutely.
So in our
And
last
transfer,
section here, can I ask you
yeah,
one thing? Like we're back to this meditation question. Like,
whatever, Angie. Otherwise, I just tell stories.
yeah, so meditation, I think our viewers, like they're all tuned in. There were 12 people we lost, unfortunately. So, so I think, maybe I won't think. So meditation, if it's not leading me to enlightenment, is there a point to meditation? Does it provide any clarity? Or is it a stepping stone to something else?
I would say so, Angie. I would say so, that it can be a stepping stone. Like for me, I didn't use it because it didn't resonate with me, but for people that it resonates with, they can use it as a stepping stone. But they have to understand, Angie, that it is just a stepping stone, okay? You have to transfer the thing. At a certain point, you have to transfer the thing from up here to down here. And you also have to transfer your practice from being in this lab environment where everything is quiet and blah, 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 and you are,
Mm.
in this cocoon of wool and whatever. You have to do that transfer too. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Otherwise, we are talking lifetimes. We are talking lifetimes. If we don't make those two moves, we're definitely talking lifetimes. And you're also relying on a lot of other factors that are, out of your reach anyway. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
I know that there are a lot of things that people also talk about, which is creating good karma, which is absolutely great. Doing the good deeds and trying to do the right thing. Absolutely great. But I want to point out one thing. Once you are here, you cannot do a bad deed, okay? Once you are once you are habitually inside the stream, you cannot
Mm.
go against the stream. Cannot. And the stream itself is completely peaceful, completely balanced, completely. I just want to point that out because karma is a long way, it's lifetimes. Karma accumulates throughout the many, many lifetimes. So what we've accumulated so far, who knows? It can't be just good. It has to be a mixture of everything.
Right.
And even now, we're just trying to do the good deeds and all that. It's all good, but it also happens. It just happens sometimes that our deed is not the best because it just happens. Life is complex. You know what I mean? So, what I'm saying is, this is again, we're talking lifetimes and lifetimes. If we want to get to awakening through, you know, performing certain things in a certain way and just focusing on this meditation and doing the good things and, doing the right things, lifetimes, lifetimes.
Mm.
That's why I understand that, people say, enlightened people who talk to other people say, will take you lifetimes. It might, yeah. So you have to transfer. You have to transfer. Use this as a stepping stone, transfer down here, and transfer the practice into the real life,
Right.
step by step by step. You have to do those two things. And it doesn't hurt, of course, that you do good deeds in between and all that, of course. I mean, that's all good. But once you spend more time here, there is no way you'd be doing anything bad to anyone or yourself or anyone. It's not possible.
So dumb question maybe, but do you know when you're here? Like,
You
is
can't
it
miss it.
just okay?
There is no I, Angie. There is no I. What do I feel like?
Mm.
I don't feel like anything. It's okay.
Mm.
My house burns down. I'm completely fine with of course, when it burns down, it will burn down. I will. But I understand that this house I'm in a bush. It might burn down one day, and if I'm still alive, I already know what I'm going to put down, something much smaller than this and all that. If I'm alive, if I'm not,
Mm.
it won't matter anyway. But it's I don't know, like, what can I say? If I never do anything but just stay here, if I never do any more videos from now on, if I just, I don't know, lose everything, whatever, I haven't got anything. I mean, I've got this, but if it all goes up and somehow I end up, I don't know where, well, it's just how it is.
Total
I don't
acceptance
feel
of what
any,
is.
yeah, I don't feel any panic attack or any flutter inside my heart or anything like that. It's just how it is, Angie.
Mm.
It's just how it is. And if I get cancer tomorrow, that's just how it is, Angie. Maybe I've already got it, but I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. And it's completely fine. This space here is it's not something that starts and ends and starts and ends. It's just
Right.
something, it's this energy field that just is. And once you're part of that, that's just what it is. And then the forms can change. But that's another story, Angie. But
It's just so easy to find that space just sitting here with you.
Angie, the space is always here. It's always here. You probably heard even some enlightened people, they used to say that, and I thought, what the hell? Sorry. I mean, where is it? Bloody hell. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
like it's here now, blah, 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 blah. I mean, honestly, really. But, if you look at it in a different way, as we did in some other videos, like, or practical, you know, try and locate the times in your life when you were actually in a space, or you are in a space, not even identifying it or not knowing. That is, I find that a much easier sort of way of going about it. We've all experienced it at some point in life, and we even experience it on a daily basis, but it's usually it goes so quickly that we're not even aware of it. and we don't even identify it. But that's what it is. It's just so simple. Like a split second between the two thoughts is that space.
Right.
A few seconds before you go to sleep, and you are just in that space when there is nothing. That's that space. When you're deeply absorbed into something, completely absorbed, that's that space.
But is there not something, I don't want to ascribe it to you because there's no I that you hold, but is there not a resonance? I feel like when you, it's not even you holding that resonance. I don't know what it is. I just sit here and there's the space. It's
Yes,
it's right here. And then
because
I feel that runoff too. I feel
my
the
spaces
runoff
are
even
open.
after like even a day, like for 24 hours after we do this, that space is still like so easy to find.
Yes, because when you have a person whose space is already open, that person facilitates you to join in that space. We're all in that space, aren't you? It's just you know some people identify it easier than others. But when you are sitting with someone who's got that space open, it facilitates you to find the space within you easier. Because that
Mm.
space, we're all in it. We share that space. It's not just me, or it's
Oh,
everyone. But
yeah.
just people can't identify it. But it's easier to identify it when you're sitting with someone who's got the space open. Like when you were sitting when you were growing up with your teacher, with your baba, whatever. That was probably,
Mm.
you could feel it much easier because he was facilitating that space already by having that space open.
Ironically, I had a lot of thoughts still going on. I mean, when I was with him, like physically in his proximity, I couldn't think at all. I just was, I'd sob. It was a weird, I'd just cry, and no one else was crying, so I felt like dumb, foolish. I thought, what is wrong with me? I can't even like talk to him or get out even a sentence or a question. I'd have questions, back up in my room or something. But when I'd see him, there's like nothing to ask. There's no words.
Because everything is already in here. Like everything is already in, all the answers are already in the space. And this is the space that we all share, and all the answers are already there. So it's actually quite correct when you say there is nothing to ask. It's all in there. You can ask yourself.
Well, the words are coarse. They're like dense. They're like meaningless.
Yeah, you see, this is the thing. Everything is there. It's just how to access it is a different question, and the words are just too
Mm.
coarse, as you say very well, too coarse to actually describe it or access it. And everything that's there, then we are translating it somehow. We're trying to translate it into some sort of words to bring other people in to understand it better, to sort of have a better idea
Mm.
of what we're talking about. But this is just, it doesn't touch the matter of the thing in a way. I mean, it's helping, but it's far from the real thing, isn't it?
Right.
It's just a very rough approximation of something that's. And you see, even the viewers who can just sit with these videos, like with you and me inside the space, regardless of what we talk or don't talk or anything else, but just to share the space with us, it will be easier for them to sort of find that space later on, even when they're on their own,
Mm.
because they will be already be spending some time in that space with you and me.
So that works through video at a later time. There's no time, I guess.
Now they can tune
There's
in.
only now. Yeah.
And the more they sort of repeat it, the more time they spend. They don't need to think about anything. They just need to spend some time in a space. And then knowing
Mm.
that that's what they need to focus on, and that's where the space is located, where the connection is. Later on their own, it'll be easier for them to connect there and focus there, and you know what I mean?
Mm.
And then it's just a matter of repetition. As with every habit, it's just a matter of repetition.
Takes the mystery out of all this, which I find delightful with you. It used to be shrouded in some sort of like, I don't know, some sacred mumble jumble that you're do this, do that, see these results, get that. I mean, it's just sitting.
Yeah, and it's just an energy field, aren't you? You know what I mean? It is just so
Mm.
plain. It is what I want to say is it's just really no mystery. It
Mm.
is very plain. And some people get so disappointed, they don't want it. They want this mysticism, they want these sort of forms and
Yeah.
excitements, and but can't be more beautiful than like that, completely straightforward and plain and just simple.
Yes.
But you see, everything is different when you just have a tiny bit of a idea about what your points are of interest, you know what I mean, of focus, is it? Transfer from
Mm.
here down here and transfer from the room into the life, everyday life. So you need to do those two transfers and pay attention to the
Mm.
vibration for the chest area. And then see where it takes you. See where it takes you.
Mm.
We don't know. You don't know. Doesn't matter. Knowing is another mental concept.
Mm. It is.
I don't know. I'm grappling now with the thoughts. Is it this? Is it this? Is it that? You see, even when you say, if you don't really even want to be grappling with all these different possibilities and options, and it's just wherever it takes you, it's fine.
It seems so clear when I sit here with you, like in the space. It's all like so clear.
Angie, that's what awaits everyone who starts this awakening thing. You just get a foot into the door, whatever you want to call it. That's it. That's it. And everything
Mm.
becomes so obvious, Angie. So simple, so
Obvious.
obvious.
Mm. Yeah.
And you see, when we say it's here now, that's it. It's here now, Angie.
Yes.
And it's the same. It's the same, Angie, for anyone. It's the same. It's not all these different spaces. It is one space that we're all part of. One space. And when you hear these platitudes while you are still looking and searching spiritually, all is one and all that, and you think, what the hell? I mean, how is that possible? How can all be
Mm.
one? I mean, really, honestly, come on. And okay, all is one, and I can. I sort of accepted it because everyone said so who already was awake. But I could
Mm.
absolutely, in all you know truth, I could never understand that. But now, I mean, it's just so simple. It's
Yeah.
just at the level of the source, where it's all clear and empty, and then high up we go, the more we have this, different forms and this and that, which is all nice. It's nothing wrong with it, but I almost don't want to break it. Like, it's more potent, so much more potent
Mm.
when I don't talk, when we don't talk,
It's
the
hard to
space,
find words.
Yeah, I somehow break it up, you know what I mean, when I talk, you know what I mean? But I just, for the sake of the viewers, we're really honestly hoping that you can share the space with Angie and me, regardless of
Mhm.
anything else. All the stories and all the blah blah, and just understand the main pointers, Transfer, transfer, and wherever it takes you is fine.
Practice. Practice,
Practice.
practice, practice.
But the right practice, you see, Angie, the right
Right.
practice, you have to come from up here, down here, focus on the vibration in the chest, and then go into life, into whatever you're doing, into in life more and more and more. You have to do it
Mm,
that way. You can't stay just in that narrow sort of a, lab space.
right.
And it's the same for all of us.
I do hope our viewers can find the space.
Yeah. Even if they can experience something even shortly while sitting with us, if they can identify it, and then we're doing the right steps, they'll be able to access it more and more often during the day, day after day after day.
Mm,
And one day, they'll be there. No more effort needed. You're just there. Here.
it's so funny when you say where we're going to be, it doesn't even matter right now. It's like all those
No,
words I
no, but what
wasted
I mean is,
earlier. I know,
yeah.
but I'm just saying the reference is like, who
Oh, I see what you
cares?
mean.
Who
I see what
cares
you mean.
where I'm going to
I see
be?
what you mean.
Like where I'm going to get to, where is this going to be? It's just like right here. This is all this is right now.
Yeah. And when you're there, Angie, you cannot go wrong. You cannot go wrong. But even that doesn't matter. But I just want to say
Right.
this is something you cannot go wrong. I cannot possibly, honestly, do something against this stream. It's just not possible. I even
And that
try not
doesn't
to
even
step on,
matter.
on, on, on little insects and stuff like that.
Mm,
It's just, it's a little bit of a joke. But what I mean is, I'm much more even observant of that than I ever was in my life. I don't kill something
mm,
if it's not absolutely necessary. I even take a fly out unless it's something that's
mm,
isn't going to bite me or whatever. But you know what I mean.
yeah.
I mean, disregard what I just said. It's not important. It's just. What I mean is just you can't do anything wrong when you're in the stream.
Mm.
You're just there. You're just there. And whatever happens, happens. And what is, and it's just fine. And obviously, apologies for all this entertainment with internet not working and everything else today.
Mm.
And
Well, hopefully when we post this, there'll be continuation, part 2.
yeah,
So on that note, otherwise I'm going to fall
yeah.
into you again.
No, and we will meet again. We will meet again next week. And if
Mm,
nothing else, just try and get from all this some time in the space with us, regardless of anything else, regardless of, and just understand your main focus where it needs to be and just do the steps. And share the space with us
mm.
whenever you can. It will definitely help you establish yourself in the space because we all share it.
That does feel true. I mean,
Yep.
yeah.
You see, even
Mm.
now when we sit like that, and when I shut my big mouth, for even a few seconds, it's just lovely.
It is.
But as you said, Angie, we'll leave you all on that note. Thank you, and
Thank you.
see you in a space next time.
Yes.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.